All right. Good morning, my friends. My name is Dwayne Spires.
And I'm Lauren Spires.
And we are your summer camp and after school program experts with Success Team Coaching. Today is March the 25th. And we just wrapped up a really awesome weekend. We had a great time here at the Spires household. And we saw a lot of you guys hosting your Easter egg hunt. So in a few moments, I want to bring one or two people on just to chat about how many people they had show up. And if you have a 1% kind of aha moment or breakthrough that occurred during that Easter egg hunt that you can share with the group, I would love for you to raise your virtual Zoom hand. And let's get like 2 or 3 of you. And I want you guys to share one of those 1% improvements. All right, Lauren, what do you have on your agenda here?
Yeah, so, when it comes to just these egg hunts in general, one is, can we go into the chat section right now? I would love to find out how many guests you had that attended your Easter egg hunt. Like, how many actually showed up? I know a lot of you had pre-enrollments and you were posting those numbers, but now that you've actually hosted it, what were those numbers? Like, who came, right? So pop into the chat section, post those up. I want to see them.
While you guys are doing that, I'm going to give a shout out to a couple people here. We have a returning platinum member. This is Doyle, who is out in California. So welcome back, brother. We're excited to have you. And I'm excited for you to see all of the new improvements and all of the extra courses and the events that we have that we didn't have back in the day. So I'm excited to have you back. Also, we have Jeff and Susie, who just jumped into a new area kind of close to the Tampa Bay area where we live. It's called Citrus Park. So shout out to you guys. Mm-hmm. They locked in that area, and we will not be working with anybody in that area because you guys are going to be taking it over and crushing it. Also, we have some platinum renewals. We have Sean and Ashley Harrington for year number 5. Anthony and Rosanna Duran, year number 5. Dustin and Shay Taylor, also year number 5. Hideki and Amanda Frazier, year 5. And last but not least, Mike and Nikki Tobin for year number 4. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Woo! You guys are awesome. All right, check out into that chat section. And we've got some people jumping in there talking about their numbers for Easter.
Yes, I love it. 600 showed up, 352 kiddos plus their families, roughly 300, 150. And this was their first year doing that. That's awesome. 250 kids, but with parents, probably somewhere between 350 and 400. I mean, oh, look at this one, 1,300 people. So yeah, definitely this is a huge community event, obviously, just to say.
Yeah, the other thing that's really crazy is Nicole's only been in our program less than a year and a half, and she had 1,300 people show up, and she said there was about 400 plus kids that were actually there. And what's exciting about this is you get such a rush of branding and marketing when you host a community event like this. This is when the Success Team system really shines. We love doing events, whether it's parents' night outs, birthday parties, seminars, recitals, testings, or big community events like Easter, Trunk or Treat, Picks with Santa and Elsa. You know, we really moved this forward into the forefront of the industries that we work with, and I love seeing you guys crush it. Shout out to you, Nicole. She's in Ohio, and what a huge turnout. As we're looking through here, we've got a few more people. Matt and Gwen said 304 kids. Amy Williams, 500 kids. Whitney says 600 registered, and about 1,200 people showed up total with the families.
Surprise.
And it was their first year. You show me, right? You show me a Facebook marketing campaign.
I was going to say, show me the magic Facebook ad. Show me the magic Google ad. So show me the magical whatever ad, right? That's going to generate these kind of numbers. Yeah. For getting them in your community. This isn't just like, oh, well, I'm going to show it to a handful of people and then hopefully they opt into my website. Hopefully they text me and they reach out for more information. Like, no. These are people that you're directly in front of, right? And if you're following the Easter egg hunt system, you have a team of people that are there with you. So it's not just you by yourself trying to accommodate, 1,000 people, right? You have your team, you have parent volunteers, you have awesome people that are building those relationships. They are meeting people. They are finding out about your program, which actually, speaking of finding out about your program, with this many leads, the follow-up afterwards, right?
Yep.
So, Dwayne, can you jump into just a little bit, kind of explain like how to gauge the temperature of who they should reach out to first?
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, everybody that's brand new that's jumping in for the hiring and training series today, we're going to start that in just a couple moments. But we want to share with you a little bit behind the scenes about what we also do, right? And a big part of this is events and following up with events and really enrolling a lot of kids all at once, right? So one thing that's important is we have to gauge the temperature of our leads. And this is a marketing concept that applies to any form of marketing that you can do, whether you're a dance studio owner, a martial arts school owner, cheerleading gym owner, childcare facility owner. It could be anybody. When you are getting leads, whether they're digital leads from Facebook or Google, or perhaps you're getting traditional leads like people are seeing your snipe signs, your banners, your flyers, community event marketing materials, etc., you have to be able to gauge your leads temperature based. And the reason why is we can't follow up with 400 people in one day effectively. We can, however, follow up with a couple dozen hot leads. These are people who've raised their hand and said, hey, we want more information. So everybody in your notes right now, when you are communicating with leads, right, there's two ways to gauge the temperature. You have time and then you have action. Time is simple, right? If they opt into your website, or they call you, they've literally taken action in that moment right now. And then you want to be the type of business owner that answers the phone by the second or third ring. And of course, if you get an online inquiry, they opt into your website, or let's say that they send you a social media message requesting more information, you are quick to respond. I'm going to go into the chat section. How fast? Okay, this is for all, we have over 100 people here. How fast should we be responding to a lead that is incoming? Jump into the chat and post it real quick. Who has this answer? How fast, if that lead comes through and you get that email notification that you just got a lead, or you see that message pop up? Yep, Kevin Galloway said 2 minutes. Kyra said immediately. Yeah, exactly. 2 minutes is going to be that threshold, but you want to follow up as soon as absolutely possible. There would be times, right, that we would follow up and they'd still be on our website.
Yes, absolutely. And look, can I just jump into this? I know it's like as soon as possible. If your as soon as possible is 2 days from now, you are the wrong person to be following up with leads. And I say this with complete love. If you have the best program that's out there, don't let them go to somewhere else who might actually respond within 24 hours. You get a lead. You need to have somebody who is dedicated to checking, to making sure that those leads are being followed up with, not as soon as it's possible for you, but as soon as it's possible for your team, which is going to be very, very quickly.
I love it. We're going to go to Gwen in just a moment. I want her to share a little bit about her experience over the weekend with their Easter egg hunt. But before we bring her on, it's going to ask her to unmute in just a second. Going back to gauging the temperature, one of the things that you want to do is you want to send a same day thank you or congratulations email to everybody on that list, whether or not they attended the event or not. It's a generalized email. So take some notes on this. It's going to be like, hey, parents. So instead of literally reaching out to the individual person using merge fields, like I'm not going to send an email that goes, hey, Super Chris, thanks for showing up to the event, because maybe he wasn't there, right? But I will say, hey, parents, congrats to everybody who was able to get a spot to this Easter egg event. We had so much fun, and we can't wait to do it again. In fact, our next event is going to be the Trunk or Treat event on XYZ date. In the meantime, we're running a special offer to everybody on our list right now, whether you attended the Easter egg hunt or not, that you can get 30 days in our evening program. You can choose between martial arts, dance, cheerleading, tumble, fitness, etc. Or we have a 1-week free membership to our after-school program. Here's the schools that we serve. And then also we have a special 1-day offer where you can attend a day of our spring break camp on this date to this date. Write back and let us know which one you're interested in, and a member of our team will lock that spot in for you. So this is where the person receives that email and they go, wow, this is awesome. I'm going to take advantage of this free opportunity, and I'm going to go ahead and write them back.
Yes, the people who write you back, those are your hot leads. Those are the ones that you are getting in touch with right away, right? Because they have already shown interest in your program. So if they take the time to respond to that message, you know that they're actually looking forward to connecting with you, and they're looking forward to connecting to you like right now.
Right now. All right. So speaking of right now, Gwen, Matt, and Daisha, let's go ahead and bring you guys on with us live, and I would like to welcome you to Mindset Monday. So fill us in. How did it go for your Easter egg hunt?
It's just me. Daisha's actually helping out with spring break camp, and Matt's putting in a fridge. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was fabulous. We had 304 kids registered for the event, and then all of the parents and grandparents were
Hey,
talking
Matt.
about Easter egg hunt.
Oh man, Easter egg hunt was huge.
Easter egg hunt. Yes, talking about it.
What would-
it was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go. I was just gonna say, what would be a couple 1% or aha moments that you had during that event that you can make it better for next year?
Phone for the entire event.
You lost your phone?
Yes.
Okay, so 1% improvement. Don't do that.
Yes. But
Don't
the
lose your
best
phone.
part was, like, I wasn't in charge of anything. Like, Daisha was doing all of our social media, so, like, nothing, it didn't matter. Like, I was just running around helping out and popping in, and everything got done that needed to get done. Like, music was still going, videos, photos, like, all of that was still taken. Like, it was amazing. So I was like, wow, that was crazy to not be in charge of any of that.
I love it. That's delegation at its finest, being that owner. Instead of working in the business too hard, you get to work on the business and inspire your team to do the heavy lifting and really serve more people at the highest level. Matt, 1% improvement from you or an aha moment about the event?
One of the things that I really wish I would have had was a more written announcement. So that way I would have had a guideline to say, oh, hey, this business did this business presented this. And also just, hey, what games what parents' night outs, what events are coming up, so that way we can keep things moving.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give you an example here, we have written announcements ourselves. There's no way, right, that we're going to be able to remember everything, and we're pretty good. And we still have to write it down, right? So I kind of picked up on that,
Give me my notes back.
Yeah.
These are mine.
So that's a great 1%. Any event that you host, it's totally fine for you to have your bullet pointed notes so that you give everybody an acknowledgement, especially when you are accepting paid sponsorships. You want to really make sure that you are taking care of those sponsors. We do this at events. I used to be a professional MMA ring announcer, and I would have pages of notes that I would have to announce on the microphone. So definitely take advantage of that. Those are great 1% improvements. You guys are awesome, and thank you for being live with us. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the hiring and training series today. If you are ready, if you are excited, go ahead and type yes in that chat section. I want to see this get lit up today. Let's do this. All right, so in the first couple weeks, we talked about where to place hiring ads. We talked about, last week, for example, how to do the phone interview, the in-person interview, and then what's the third step?
Well, that is going to be the onboarding, right? We're going to
Audition.
sorry. We're talking about interviewing. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, we are. I thought you were going into this week's topic.
That'll be next.
I'm ready to go. So we are going to be auditioning them.
Yeah, so the audition is super important, and that really gives us that opportunity to see what they're capable of, right? Now, after we do all of that, and it's time to offer them the position, you've created a really awesome slideshow here with 7 steps. Talk a little bit about that before we jump in.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really just comes down to you want to make sure that you are building the rapport still. You're continuing to build that relationship with this brand new team member, right? So we have created these 7 onboarding steps just to make sure that everybody really feels a part of the team. You are continuing to build that relationship, continuing to keep the communication very high. And this is what allows them to step into their role and feel confident in their role and also feel very welcomed in their role.
Okay, so what would be some advice that you have for people that might be joining us for the first time this week and they haven't yet watched week 1 and week 2? Just kind of a general 30-second overview of the concept.
I can do it in like 2 seconds if you want. Okay.
The main concept of always be hiring. That's one thing I want to reiterate before we jump into the details here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my 2-second review is to go back and watch the videos. That's the first thing that you need to do. But just kind of an overview is as we are walking you through understanding that applicants who are coming onto your team, it's not just you interviewing them, they are interviewing you. if you are truly finding the best people for your team, they have other options. So making sure that you're going through and coming from a mindset of going, do I really have the best program? Am I presenting myself as the owner as the best? Or when they come into, our campus, are they going to go, wow, or are they going to go, smells kind of funny? Like, there's all kinds of things that are a part of the previous 2 weeks that really set the tone and the foundation for anybody that's brand new that's coming onto your team.
Yeah, I want to talk real quick about one mindset strategy, and then we're going to jump into the slides. So where we see people mess up, and they don't do this intentionally. So this is something that's a little bit under the radar. And this is something that everybody watching this, whether you're live with us right now, shout out to everybody who's live, or the people that watch the replay, we still love you too, but be live with us next week, is we have to understand that if we delegate the team building, if we delegate the hiring to a person on our team, and we are giving them the ability to hire people and build the team, we have to make sure that that person is also a 10. The mistake that we see is that you'll have owners that are, chronically overwhelmed and busy, and they struggle with delegation, and they haven't clarified their life and simplified their life. So they finally get so overwhelmed that they're like, hey, you've been on my team for a couple of years. You're in charge of hiring. But the problem is that that person that they put in charge of that hasn't been trained correctly.
Correct.
And let's say that they're not a 10. They're probably closer to like a 6. 6s hire 2s and 3s. So you're going to step back and you're going to feel all the stress lifted off of your shoulders. You're like, I've just empowered this person to do the hiring, and they're going to do such a great job. And then all of a sudden that stress comes back times 100 because they just hired a bunch of 2s and 3s that are going to wreck your company. So I share this with you because anybody that you put in charge of hiring needs to show up as a 10. They need to know your systems, whether it's summer camp and after school, martial arts or dance, does not matter. They need to know how your business operates. And specifically, they need to know the vision that you have as an owner so that they build the right culture, one kid or one staff member at a time. And if they just start hiring a bunch of people that just need jobs and they're not the perfect fit, you are literally creating a disaster that's about to happen.
Yeah.
So with all of that being said, go back and watch week number 1, watch week number 2 of this 3-week training series so you can mitigate that risk and you can have confidence, and rest assured you are going to bring on the best people to elevate your company and to remove that hard work and that stress that we naturally carry as owners. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I want you guys to tune in. Make sure that you are ready to rock with your notes. This is going to be a 2-part series today. For today's presentation, part number 1 is going to be onboarding success.
And in part number 2, we're going to talk about team member training.
Right. Because we have to think about it like this, Lauren. When we hire the team and we bring them on, that's when it actually gets started.
Correct.
Right? The training, the education process, that's when it begins. A lot of the amateur business owners, they hire the people, they give them a quick orientation, and then they step back and they let that person fail.
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of that. All right, so part number 1, let's go ahead and jump into onboarding success here. And we're going to share with you the 7 steps to onboarding success. All right, so step number 1, write this down. You want to immediately give the new team member their uniform. So what you have in front of you right now is an example uniform of what we love to use in the summer camp and after school program system. But this also applies if you are a martial arts school owner and you hand them the new martial arts gi, or if you're a dance studio owner and you're like, hey, here is the attire that you are going to wear because now you are a teacher on our team.
Which, by the way, if you are an owner of a dance studio, I highly recommend that you guys actually start using uniforms for your teachers. It is such a solid way to just really make yourself look put together. And I'll give you this as an example. You know, you guys have experience in showing up to like dance competitions and things like that, and everybody looks the same. They've all got the same jackets and pants, and even down to the flip-flops are matching, right? You know that team that shows up, that they look so in sync, you're like, oh, they're probably going to be the ones that win, right? Why can't you bring that into your studio and just keep it consistent all the time? right? There is nothing that says that all of your teachers can't wear the same shirt, whether it is a poloed shirt that has your logo on it, or whether it is a t-shirt or a tank top, or whether it's like, hey, on Mondays we wear this, it doesn't matter. But keeping everything uniform makes things just look so nice, and it makes it look fantastic for branding on social media. So just tossing it out there.
Yeah, I love it. And as you were sharing that, Cherie, who owns a massive 7-figure business, they have dance, they have gymnastics, all kinds of stuff. She said that the dance teachers do give her some pushback on wearing the uniform, but it looks so good.
It does.
So I want to give you guys a little bit of psychology, right? When you show up as an owner and you are always in uniform, you always have your name tag on, or you always have your lanyard and badge on, and you are to the T dressed up and you look like a 10, you will get way less pushback from any team member because you are showing up and you're walking the talk. Also, as a pro tip, let's analyze the psychology, right? When you have people, any type of group, you always have what are called the early adopters. And the middle group are people on the fence. And then you have the resistors. Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you just a little overview of each one. The early adopters, they're fantastic. They're the ones that are going to come in. They're going to get the shirt, the hat, the lanyard. They're going to put it on. They're going to wear it proudly. They're going to, jump on a FaceTime with their grandma and be like, look, grandma, I got a real job. And like, look at my, because it feels official.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like they're pumped. They're going on social media showing pictures of them in that uniform.
Right.
Right? They feel like they're part of the team because they are.
Exactly.
The people in the middle, they are persuaded to go one way or the other based on the owner and based on the early adopters. So if you give a lot of attention to the people who are the early adopters and you give them shout outs like, hey, Coach Sarah, you look so awesome in that uniform. Great job. The lanyard's perfect. Thank you for always showing up at your best. When you start giving public acknowledgments in front of the other team members, that the people in the middle are going to adopt that behavior pattern. They show up and they fit the culture. So my question to everybody on this call right now, what do we do with the resistors? Jump into the chat section. What do we do with the people that are resistant? So you've got 3/4 of your team. They're crushing it. They're wearing the uniform. 25%. They're like, I don't know. What do we do with those people? Type it in the chat section. Let's see who's got that answer. Gregory reports. Gregory said, bye-bye. Claudia said, bye. Yeah, so this is the thing that's so important right now. We as owners have to be willing to maintain a culture where we can all show up and be a 10. If you are not willing to show up and be a 10 and hold your team to a 10, you will naturally digress. You're going to be a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5, and then you're going to go out of business. And this is the problem that we see with all of the mom and pop business owners out there, those amateurs, is they don't understand the value of a coaching team brand.
Yeah. And here's the thing is there is a level of professionalism that comes with everybody being in uniform. Look at any professional sport, whether it is like, and I'll speak for myself, and we've got Sydney Best on the line here. She also was an NFL cheerleader with me as well. It did not matter if we were showing up for a 4-hour rehearsal or we were going to go and do an event. Everything was on purpose and intentional down to the shoes that we were wearing. So you look at, NFL football, they all, when they are practicing, they wear the same thing. Professional soccer teams, baseball teams, it does not matter what they are doing. They're always in a uniform. So you have to ask yourself the question, is your business professional or are you amateur? So I invite you guys to all operate at the professional level.
Yeah, for sure. Kia Loggets has such a great question. She says, how does everyone get their lanyard IDs made so quickly for their first day? She said hers usually takes over a week to ship from the company called Zazzle.
Yeah.
She says, or are you giving them a temporary ID?
Yes, you're giving them a temporary ID. So you want to, and actually we're going to, if you want to go ahead and jump ahead, this is one of the things that we are going to be talking about. So in step 2 for the onboarding, you are going to take their headshot and print off a temporary badge and then order their official one. So, I mean, you basically jumped ahead on this one, but yeah, you are going to be printing that in-house, just putting it into like a little sleeve, like a little clear plastic sleeve so that they can have that and wear that immediately.
Yeah, that's a great way to immediately make it official. So number 2, take a headshot, print that temporary badge, and order the quote unquote official badge. So Kia had mentioned Zazzle. I want to open this up to the entire group that's on the call. We have well over 100 people live with us right now. Where do you guys get your badges? Another one would be like nametagcountry.com. We've used them before. I will also say this while people are jumping in. There's a lot of people saying that they use Zazzle. One thing to keep in mind is, as an owner, and you guys can write this in your notes, even the directors, if you go to any formal event, okay, I'll give you an example. Lauren and I were invited because we got nominated as like volunteer partners of the year for the Hillsborough County school system. We were giving a lot of money back to the schools. We were volunteering our time, donating supplies. I mean, really doing what we include in our system by the book, right? So we get nominated for this event, and it's kind of like a formal black tie gala. It's a plated dinner, and we were at a circular table with a couple different principals that we were connected with at the local schools. The school board was there. The superintendent of the entire district was there. There were other business partners. So we had to show up looking business professional. And we couldn't just roll in there with our lime green polo shirts and our lanyards and royal blue shorts or martial arts uniform or a dance teacher uniform. We had to show up looking like owners.
Yes.
And we also brought our directors with us. So instead of wearing lanyards and badges, we would get magnetic name tags.
Yes.
And I believe I think it was Name Tag Country that we used, right?
We, at the time, yes, we used Name Tag Country. Now we use namebadge.com.
Namebadge.com. You guys can write that in your notes as well. But it would literally just say our first and last name. So it was like Dwayne Spires. And at the time, I was CEO. So it would be CEO of Extreme Youth Sports. And Lauren Spires, COO of Extreme Youth Sports. And then Sydney was there. Will was there. Like people, our directors were there as well. So you have to have a formal ability in addition to the day-to-day ability to show who you are. And this builds so much credibility, instant rapport, and instant trust no matter where you go. It just makes you look official.
And just to clarify also, because we could not show up in our lime green polos, we did have our formal wear, which Dwayne actually had like a lime green button up. And Will, you and Will both had the same shirt.
Yep, same shirt.
I had like a royal blue dress, so I had the royal blue. He was rocking the lime green, and we looked sharp.
Always be branding, always be marketing.
Yes.
Write that in your notes. Okay, so let's go on to number 3. This is funny. Have them fill out their employment paperwork right there. Okay, so you guys wrap up that audition. You've offered them the job. They have accepted the job. It is time to do these steps before they even leave. You have to make sure that they fill out the employment paperwork. When they sign on the dotted line and they sign the tax forms, the employment agreement, they go through and give you information about their direct deposits, you have essentially closed the sale.
Yep.
And a lot of you are so sales focused on enrolling new students, which is good, that you guys naturally do things like that when you do enrollments for new customers and new students. But we have to have this mindset, right? When we are bringing on people to the team, it's not just hiring. We are enrolling them to our team. We're enrolling them. So make sure that they do this. We see this step get skipped sometimes. You'll have a school owner that's like, oh, yeah, we had such a great audition. And then the person went home and we reached out like 4 days later to have them come back in to fill out the paperwork, but then they got another job offer that paid them $1 an hour more.
Or 25 cents an hour more. And you're like, really? Because of 25 cents? Like, or just have the paperwork there ready to rock. They can sign it. It makes it so when they sign, when you have real ink on paper, it makes it official, right?
Yeah. One of my mentors always said, don't leave money on the table. And I'll add to that. Don't leave new hires on the table. All right. So make sure that you guys take action and close the deal. Okay. Number 4, schedule their first training session. Everybody write this down. So their first training session needs to happen pretty rapidly, right? I mean, I'm talking next day if possible.
Yes.
The good news is if you're doing after school and summer camp and you're open all year round, they can literally train the next day. You're going to be open unless it's a weekend. Yep. And even if it is a weekend, could they come in and help with the birthday party.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things. You host birthday parties, you're hosting parents' night out events. In this event, if there was an Easter egg hunt that happened to be having, well, then we can sign up for that. So there's all kinds of things that you can get them in as quickly as possible, which actually, when we get into the next section, when we're talking specifically on training, we're going to go through a list of things.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at this picture here, you see the two women giving each other a high five, and this is a wonderfully created ChatGPT AI graphic. I love it. But the thing that's important about this picture is it's showing culture.
Yes.
And as a pro tip, write this in your notes. When you officially hire that person, they sign on the dotted line. They filled out the employment paperwork. They have their shirt. They're going to go put that shirt on immediately. They're going to go put their temporary badge on immediately. We're going to give you a couple extra action steps in just a moment of what you want to do. But something that's so vitally important is you start treating them like they've always been on the team forever.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you're introducing them to everybody, introduce them to the kids. If you have any students there, introduce them to the other staff members. And when you have a culture of we are the best, everybody's high-fiving, fist bumping, congratulating each other for making it to the team. Because the truth is, they weren't just hired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want you guys to do this. Write this in your notes. Write down the word hire. I want you to cross it out. Next to it, write the word accepted. They were accepted onto your team because they earned it. They were the best person for that job and for that career. We don't just hire a bunch of random people. We give people opportunities to excel. Accepted, enrolled. Keep that in mind. That's going to differentiate you from all of the other people. And in fact, I'm going to go up here into the chat section really quickly. Jennifer Best, what's up? She said, let's see if I can pull it up here. She said, we just hired a new coach. So guys, listen to this. This new coach had several job interviews and offers from 4 other places. She could have picked any one of them, but because you gave, she's talking about us now, because you gave us the concept that they are interviewing with us, that we should be in the different mindset when they come in. So what she's talking about is the employee is also interviewing you as the owner. So you have to show up at a level 10. She said that mindset really made a big difference. And when this new coach decided to take the job, she said that the biggest factor was that she loved our team. And she also indicated how much she noticed that the team loved their jobs as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that we do at STC.
Yeah. I was going to say, aside from just like our team here, think about when you guys as members, when you show up to an event, all members welcome other members. All members welcome people who have not yet joined STC. And you guys are like, this is amazing. You have to do it. This is it. Like, you guys hype up the people for us, which thank you, by the way. We really appreciate that.
We appreciate all of you helping encourage people to sign up for STC.
Right, exactly. But that is the culture, because we know that what we're doing is something that's awesome, right? Which means that what you guys are doing in your business is fantastic, right? You're enrolling students. You are truly making an impact on their lives. This isn't like, oh, we're just here. We're changing lives. No, you really are changing lives. Like, you really are. And I want you guys to really get that and believe that. But, you know, when you have these new people that are coming in to your campus and they meet your team and they see how excited and grateful that their team is to be a part of you, right, in your school, that's when they go, maybe this is where I want to be, right? Instead of going and working at, like, you know, Chick-fil-A. Not that Chick-fil-A is a bad place to work, but it's not the same.
Exactly. Your team members will sell that job to the new applicants the moment that person walks in. That is massively important. Okay, so number 5, and we talked about this, but I want you to see this picture: officially welcome and introduce them to the team and the students. So what I love about this picture, this is Vicky and Yaro's school. They actually have a couple locations out here in the Tampa Bay area and on the Clearwater side. And look at this picture. Thumbs up. Everybody's in uniform. They have their smiles on. They have their lanyards and their badges. They look like a team. And they look like a team of people who love their careers. That is the vibe that everybody has to have when they interview with you and your company. They want to see the other team members. Remember what we talked about in the previous series that we hosted. We talked a lot about social proof.
Yes, a lot of social proof.
You want the applicant to be able to see the social proof that everybody on the team loves their position, that they want to stay there, that there's like this camaraderie, they're a group of friends. They're even transcending to becoming family. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, when we go back, right, when we talk about like previous trainings or even this training, we were talking about the social proof of the team and having those videos, those coaches spotlight videos, right, of them talking about just themselves, talking about what they love about working on your team, what they look forward to the most. Those types of videos are fantastic for parents to see because they're like, oh, this person's going to be working with my child. But those videos hold so much value in the eyes of somebody who is applying for a position on your team, right? When they see like, oh, there's lots of other people that are just like me that want to work here too, that's when they're like, perfect, I'm in, sign me up.
That's where you can leverage those spotlight videos and use them just like testimonials.
Right.
You know, it's like if you have a mom that's interested in signing up in any one of your programs,
yes,
and you're able to show her a video of another mother similar to her with similar aged children who love the program, there's a higher likelihood that she is going to be persuaded to say yes if she was on the fence.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing here because we're hiring rock stars, and we know one thing that's always consistent about rock stars. They have options. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, you're not the only game in town. And I'm not talking about
facts.
Martial arts, dance, cheer, summer camp, and after school. You might be competing against the CVS.
Right.
You might be competing against Chick-fil-A. You might be competing against a medical office. You might be competing against
a gas
any
station.
other business that's in your town.
Right.
Right? So this is where leveraging that social proof influences the rock star to say, you know what? I have those 4 offers. I could go anywhere I want, but I'm going to choose you.
Yep.
That's where it's all about. All right. Kyra, this is something that she just said in the chat section. I want everyone to hear this. She said, I felt the caring atmosphere immediately with Kirsten and Seth Nichols when she jumped in there.
I love that.
Yeah, she's one of their team members. She's doing a great job. And Kyra, thanks for jumping in the chat section and sharing that with us.
Yep.
Sydney Faith, she's one of our business coaches here. She said, we had an in-person interview and the candidate stated that they love the interaction between me and our director, and it made it seem like a family versus just a job. I'm telling you guys, this is what it's all about.
Yeah. And you know who doesn't have any issues or concerns about wearing uniforms?
Rock stars.
Rock stars. People who are excited to come in and be a part of the family, because when you're a part of the family, you all wear the same thing. Isn't that right, Dwayne?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's funny. You said, rock stars don't have an issue wearing the uniform.
Right.
This goes to you guys as owners, too. If
Right.
you find resistance to wearing your own brand, you're not a rock star anymore.
Correct.
You might have been back in the day, but you're not acting like one right now, and you're certainly not going to show up like a rock star owner for your team.
Right.
What kind of performance do you think that they're going to have?
Low.
Very low.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at number 6 here. Lauren, can you give us a little insight into what we see?
Absolutely. Yeah. So welcome announcement on social media. So you want to be able to welcome any brand new team members, right? And so this is actually a really great example here. This is from one of our amazing platinum members, Tom and Krista Lynn. So they welcomed Coach Matthew. So what I love about this is they give like a little bit of info on like who Coach Matthew is. And obviously he's got his uniform on, smiling, thumbs up. And again, so this is fantastic social proof for brand new team members. This is also great for parents to see because they get to see who is going to be working with their kids.
Yeah, I love it. And one thing that you guys can do is literally copy this exact concept. It seems simple, especially if you're a new guest.
Yeah.
A new guest will see this and they're like, oh, that's simple. That's common sense. Then why aren't you doing it?
Right.
Right? Because what you're not doing is understanding the psychology of influence and persuasion. A couple of things are happening. Number one, you are showing this new team member, for this example here, Coach Matthew, you're showing Coach Matthew that you care.
Yep.
You're showing the other team members that you only hire the best. If you have a bunch of rock stars and then you hire a low budget team member, those rock stars are suddenly going to doubt your credibility as an owner. They're going to suddenly doubt your credibility as a brand. They are not going to take their career seriously when they have a bunch of people on their team now that are low budget.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen. So psychologically, not only are you showing the brand new person that you care, you're showing your team member that you only hire, the other team members that you only hire the best. And you're showing the parents that you take great care of your team. You're showing the parents that you only hire the best. So now trust and rapport is at an all-time high.
Yep.
When those parents are thinking about you and the trust and rapport is at an all-time high, referrals pick up substantially.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Write down the concept of referrals. This all ties in together. Like you'll see these little tiny steps that we teach in the system, but people forget like this all is synergistic. It all ties together.
Yeah, exactly. So I want you guys to think about it like this. This is actually literally the way that you just did your hands like this made me think of this analogy. Imagine that you're like lacing your shoes up and you miss a hole and you only lace on like the one side. Well, your shoe's going to fall off, but you laced it, right? So you have to make sure that you're going side to side when you're lacing up your shoes so that your shoes don't fall off of your feet, right? So these are those little tiny things. So just missing that one little hole in your shoe is going to be wonky, right?
I'm jumping into the chat section. I love that analogy, by the way. That's probably why my shoes keep falling off. Anthony Gilbert says, Target is my best place to recruit.
Yeah,
I love it.
not surprised.
Eric Myers says, common sense isn't common. Yep, unfortunately. Robert Blum says he actually purchased branded gym wear. Branded gym wear.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is we also have Tony and Stacy Splon. They are Diamond members. They're in Tyler, Texas. They've been with us for a really long time. In fact, this is their second year in a row at Diamond. They got a branded vehicle for personal use.
Yep.
They have a Bronco that is insanely cool. Like if I didn't love my Jeep 392 with that giant V8 engine.
You mean my Jeep?
Your Jeep. I'd probably be rocking that Bronco in that same color because that thing is sweet.
It is pretty cool.
All right. So let's keep moving on here. And just keep in mind that this is a pro tip. You don't just have to post about the new hire one time when they first get hired. You can post about these people all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're proud of them. Just like you're proud of the students and you can give them acknowledgement posts on social media and that turns into social proof. I'm going to ask all of you owners out there, when was the last time that you posted about your team, about the individuals? What are they up to? What's an accomplishment that they just made? Did they graduate college? Did they get married? Did they have a kid? Did they get a dog? What are they up to? You know, Tori on our team, she's out there running races.
I know. She's super fast.
She's like a marathon lady now.
I know. I saw her post on there about like her like running and stuff like that. And I remember, you know, it wasn't that long ago that I was also running. And now I'm thinking at it, I'm like, you know what? You have fun with those races. And I will acknowledge you for running those races.
Exactly.
But I am not going to be running those races.
Tori she typed in here. She said the next half marathon is booked for May the 2nd.
Well, good job. We'll post about it.
So you guys want to know why we have such fast, high-level customer service? It's because of Tori. You see her right there? She's not right there anymore. She's over there. That's
so
how fast.
So quick.
She's so fast. We love you, Tori. You rock.
Yes.
All right, a couple more things, then we're going to go on to step number 7 here. Guys, are you finding this helpful? Type yes in the chat section if these onboarding steps are going to be things that you will implement. All right.
Awesome.
Melissa has a great question. She says, if you actually hire one of your students and the students know them by their name, could you change it? Yeah, you could be like, hey, from now on, you're going to be Coach Melissa. Just add the prefix coach and you're good to go.
Ta-da.
Or Miss or Mr., whatever fits your brand. We like to use the term coach because we specialize in after school and summer camp. But, you know, when our kids were doing dance, it was Mr. and Miss. Even at gymnastics, it's Mr. and Miss.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's keep moving forward here. You guys are ready to rock. All right. So number 7, send an after hours text. Now, if you're a guest right now and you hear us say after hours, that could sound kind of sultry. That's not what this is. All right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Good to clarify.
There's nothing weird about this at all.
No.
So if you look at the text message there, if you look on your screen, it says 6:25 p.m. We're not texting this person at like 11:45 p.m.
No.
when, you know, they're about to fall asleep next to their spouse.
Right.
We're texting them about a half hour after they've left. And this is, again, rooted in psychology. This is one of those things where it's an unexpected positive message. They aren't expecting to hear from you, but then you show up at 6:25 p.m. and you go, hey, Coach Aaron, I just wanted to reach out and let you know that you did an amazing job today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another awesome day. Hope you have a great night. It's as simple as that. It's an after hours because business hours are over. It's a text message that you send. You're not trying to sell them anything.
Nope.
It's short and simple.
Yep.
And you're just saying, hey, you're a rock star. You are reinforcing that identity now that they are on your team.
And you're looking forward to seeing them tomorrow.
Exactly. Have you guys ever had that where you've had somebody show up for day number 1 and they didn't come back for day number 2? Or even better yet, if you're like me, you've accepted a job and then you didn't show up the next day. One of my jobs when I was like 16, I was, what do you call it? Like a cashier at a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is going to be so cool. You know, you just get to like scan all the things as they go on the belt. And that lasted for about an hour. Then I was like, I got to go home. I couldn't make it.
The worst.
I know.
You know what, though? I will just say that clearly the culture of that grocery store was not good.
Yeah, you know where they failed?
Where did they fail?
They didn't give me a lanyard.
You're ridiculous.
No, but it is true. It is true. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. I wouldn't do well as an employee. Okay, so we have a bonus for you. So we gave you the 7 steps here, but we have another bonus. Get them a gift. Find out what they're into. Look at their social media. In our course, in the download section, you have a document that allows you to learn more about the new hire.
Yes.
It asks them questions like, hey, where's your favorite place to vacation? What's your favorite show? You know, what's your favorite drink?
Whatever. There's all
stuff.
kinds of things that are on there. Yeah.
So if you've got a coffee drinker, and this is just a simple, vague example, but hey,
Yeah.
the next day, surprise them with their favorite coffee.
Yep.
Surprise them with the $10 gift card. Give them something that they're not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
It goes such a long way. You guys have to remember something. This game is easy to win because we are only trying to beat these like average companies that are down the road from you.
Yeah. Well, it's also easy to win because you know how to play.
Exactly. So put that in your notes. And by the way, if you are on the call live or you're watching the replay, and again, next week you better be live. We've got another good one coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a coach or director, maybe a salesperson or a driver. And then all of a sudden, the owner of the company surprises you with a gift. I don't want you to be like, oh, I see what you're doing. You watched Dwayne and Lauren talking about the bonus gift, and now you're hooking me up with a bonus gift.
Is this how they talk? They talk
with their
like
hand.
this?
They talk with their
Like
hand.
that?
Like, and if anybody ever talks to you with their hand like this, just fire them on the spot. But everybody's laughing.
I can't today.
But you guys get the point, right? You guys get the point. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Team members that are on this call right now, the owners are investing in this coaching program so that they can bring you the best product ever. They want you to have the best day ever in this business. They want you to feel appreciated. So when they learn how to appreciate you at a higher level, don't be like, oh, I see what you're doing. Just say thank you and then push that forward and make the other people on your team feel appreciated. You know, one thing real quick before we move on to the next part. Anytime that somebody walks into your business, whether it's a new member, a lead, a current team member, or a brand new hire, you should be excited to see them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
absolutely.
every time that Super Chris shows up here to the studio, we're like, what's up, Super Chris?
Yes.
How was your weekend?
How was your weekend?
It was great.
It was
Good.
great?
That's good.
Fantastic, Yeah.
Nice.
How's Henry?
He's good. Solid.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, we got to do that. High five people, fist bump,
Yeah.
do that. That is part of building culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is part of building culture. And if you're an owner, and let's say you're doing evening classes, right? And you show up and you have a whole team of instructors or teachers on the floor teaching. When you show up and they look over at you, wave, give them a thumbs up,
Yeah.
voice like, be like, good job. Like, let them know that you care. This is the human to human element that makes this system so special.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, and we do this. When you come to our live events,
Yeah.
we go out of our way to make you feel special, appreciated, and important because
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
You're here on this mission with us to change kids' lives across the world. Thank you. And we want you to know that we love you guys. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So speaking of next event, when is the advanced course?
Yes. So actually, speaking of knowing how to play the game, right? Advanced course. If you are a CEO or in a like higher leadership position within the organization, you do not want to miss the advanced course. It is July 13th and 14th in Tampa. And the reason why I say knowing how to play the game is as a CEO or somebody who is owning and operating a business, if you're a coach or a driver, you have a series of checklists and things that you need to hit. But sometimes as the CEO, you're like, how do I know if I'm actually doing a good job? What am I supposed to do? Like, you don't know how to play the game of CEO.
Literally, CEOs go, well, who makes my checklist?
Right.
What do I need to do from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep? How can I be a more effective husband or wife or dad or mom and business owner all at the same time and make sure that my kids make it to soccer practice on time? So we're going to be walking you through a step-by-step system of how to be the absolute best CEO that you can possibly be. And I'm telling you right now, like, if the world could sit in on this training, people that are outside of our industries, I'm not even kidding you. I guarantee CEOs from Google, Facebook, all these people, they'd be like, that stuff's good.
Yep.
Like, they're not even doing this.
Correct.
So if you want a massive advantage over all of your competition and any other company that's in your town that could try to recruit people from you, you better be at this event.
You better be there.
This is seriously, like, this is content that we have never taught you. And it's going to be fresh and new. In July. One more time, what's the date? Write this down.
July 13th and 14th, advanced course in Tampa, Florida.
And we are not at the Hilton Airport.
No, we are not. So we are at a Hilton. We are at the Hilton Garden Inn in Lutz. The address is actually on our event page on Facebook, so you guys can check it out there.
All right, cool. Let's go into some team training tips here. All right. If you guys are ready to rock, give me a big YES in that chat section. I want to see that fill up. Wake up, everybody. If you can see me, I'm looking at your cameras right now. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to rock. Let me see those hands up in the air. I see Drew and Amanda over there and their team. What's up, guys? Awesome Youth Sports. Shout out to you guys. Kevin Galloway, are you ready?
Woohoo!
Is Kevin Galloway ready? Thumbs up if you are, Kevin. I don't know if I think his screen is frozen or he is just stoic. All right, let's go.
Anthony Gilbert's 40th birthday is during advanced course. He says he expects presents.
Did he say 40th birthday?
He said 40th.
Nice. You're looking good, Anthony.
You are.
All right, let's keep going here. So we're going to talk about team training, best practices for team training. Get the team member involved as quickly and as often as possible.
Yes.
All right, so go into some options here, Lauren.
Yeah, so, like we were saying earlier about scheduling their first training session, this is literally what we're talking about. So if you have an active after-school program, get them in as soon as possible. If you have an upcoming birthday party where obviously you have coaches that are there that are interacting with kids, get them at the birthday party, a parent night out. And of course, if you have evening and weekend programs. Here's what I'll say about parent night out events. So I love bringing on coaches to Parents Night Out events right away because it's basically, and for those of you that are a guest, you might be like, what are you about to say, Lauren? Kid Cave. So Kid Cave is structured free play. There's games. There's all kinds of things that are like that.
Yeah, that's what we call the classroom. Instead of being like, let's go to the classroom and do structured free play, we're like, let's go into the Kid Cave.
Right.
And everybody just knows what that means.
Right, exactly. So it's basically like, a multi-hour Kid Cave session, essentially.
Yeah.
And so what I love about that is it actually just kind of simplifies what the system is, gets them to experience the culture of it in a very fun and short period of time. So it's not a full day, right? It's shorter. So they get to, just be in it.
Yeah, get them in as soon as possible, break the ice, get them to meet the kids, the other team members, and again, encourage them to high-five people.
Yes.
Encourage the kids. Write this one down also. Literally, like every time for the first week that new person is on your team, anytime that you walk in as an owner or director, you need to stop the class and be like, boys and girls, this is, you guys know our newest coach, Super Chris. I just want to remind everybody, what are what type of coaches or what type of teachers or instructors do we allow to be on our team?
The best!
All right, everybody say Super Chris is the best.
Super Chris is the best!
Right? This seems silly. This seems like repetitive.
Yeah.
But the psychology behind that is so powerful.
It is.
You are creating a new identity for the new hire. You're reminding them that they're a rock star. You're reminding them that not only do you care, but the kids are counting on them as well. Right? Keep that in mind. If you want retention, this is where it comes down to, because those coaches aren't going to quit you. the relationship, the team, the paycheck. They're not going to quit all those things.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to say though about the whole like having the kids say out loud the best and they are being loud is this actually gives them that opportunity to be loud, right? Kids they need that. So this is kind of like a bonus pro tip, right? So one is there's a level of consistency that comes from going into the classrooms and going, we are, and they're like, the best, right? They know what to say. So that makes them feel a little bit more confident as a kid because they already know what to expect. But the second thing is it allows them to burn a little bit of that extra energy or give them that opportunity to get loud. When you give them multiple times to get loud throughout the day, guess what they do when it's time for them to quiet down? They actually quiet down and they listen because they've already got all that energy out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so here's the thing. Before we wrap up, we're gonna have time for just a couple questions. When you bring somebody on and you want to expect them to continue to always be a rock star, you have to make sure that they are training and evolving with you, right? This is where a lot of the amateurs kind of fall off, is they literally will hire somebody, they'll do a good job onboarding, they'll do all those things that we just talked about, and all of a sudden, they just step back and they kind of put that new hire out on their own. And they're like, all right, here you go. And they rarely check in with the person. They rarely ask them how the day was. They certainly don't ask for 1% improvements from the new hire, right? And where it gets really odd is, you can't expect the person to do a good job if they're not feeling supported, right? So this is where we go into one step further, and then I'll open up the line here for some questions. If you do have a question, you're welcome to raise your virtual hand, or you can post it into the chat, and we will get to a handful of questions real quick. But the thing that's important is, as an owner, you have to be willing to accept 1% improvements as well, right? So if a team member comes up to you and they're like, hey, I've got an idea on how we can make the business better, the event better, our experience as a team member better, how the kids can have more fun. When you open up the lines of communication and your team members know that they can bring anything to your awareness, and then they do, you have to thank them, make them feel appreciated, acknowledge them in front of the other team members that they just gave you a 1% improvement. The perfect opportunity to do this is during your weekly team trainings. So you have to be mindful throughout the week when people are trying to invest to make your company better. When your team members have good ideas for you, you better acknowledge them in front of the rest of the team at the next team training. And guess what is going to happen to the culture? Now you're creating a culture of 1% improvements. And when you have everybody on your team that are all collectively putting their heads together to help improve your company every day by 1%, you are going to excel. You are literally going to become the one. You will not only become the one, you will stay the one. And you will outpace all of your competitors so much that those competitors, even when they try to copy you, they won't even be close. We see that happening all the time. And in fact, in our coaching program, we always tell our new members, we're like, hey, there will be a day where you will see your closest competitor change their colors to blue and green. You'll see a day where all of a sudden their Facebook ads look very, very similar to the ones we give you in the course. There will be a day where they try to emulate and copy the flyers that they see you distributing to the schools. And don't get upset. Smile and go, we knew this was going to happen, and we have outpaced them. We have outmaneuvered, we have outworked them, outmarketed them, outsold them. They can't even keep up. And then you know you've got it. Eric Meyer says, don't panic. They don't know the system. They're just copying the look. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Just copying the look doesn't get it because they don't understand the when, the why, the how. They don't understand the psychology. They don't understand how to use what they see.
Look at it from this perspective. If you see a tree, right? That tree, the bigger the tree, right, the deeper the roots. Your competitors cannot see your roots. They have no idea. In fact, the sprout that you might have right now might only be like this big, but your roots are deep, right? So your competitor is only able to copy this little tiny bit. And guess what? Without deep roots, that little branch is going to fall over, right?
Oh, for sure.
They are not going to be able to sustain that business for very long because they have no idea what they're doing.
All right, I've got a good question here. This is from Claudia Guerrero. in New Jersey, multi-year member, Platinum. They're awesome. Her and her husband, Johnny. She says, when we ask, and she's talking about asking this to an applicant. She says, when we ask the applicant, when can you start? If they say they can't start until the summer and they are truly a rock star, should we continue with the in-person interview or should we X them because they can't come in? So I'm going to say this. If they're a rock star and they say they can't start till the summer, that's fantastic because there are seasonal team members that you have to hire. Mm-hmm. So I would say at least 50 to 60%, sometimes a little more, are going to be summer-only hires, right? They either work in the mornings or they work in the afternoons, and then you see them again next summer. So definitely get them in for the in-person interview. 100% audition them and close the deal. Get the paperwork signed, do the onboarding steps, get the pictures going, the social media stuff going. Worst case scenario, if you're 2 or 3 months out before the summer starts and they find a different job, which could happen, usually doesn't though, no big deal. Always be hiring, right? This is why we have that backup in our system. Mm-hmm. You're creating a list of employees. We talked about that last week, right? Always be hiring and create that list.
Yeah, and one thing that I would like to add to that is if you have somebody that they are not going to be starting until the summer, you still want to keep high communication with them leading up to it, right? That's going to decrease the chances of them actually looking to find another position, right? If you are including them on your newsletters that you're sending out, you are tagging them in certain social media posts that have to do with the upcoming summer camp. So there's definitely ways to still keep in communication with the team members to make sure that they still feel a part of the team, even if they're not working with the team right now.
Oh, absolutely. You could even just call them on their cell phone and be like, hey, happy birthday today, if it's their birthday,
or call them when it's not their birthday and say happy birthday. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Just find reasons to reach out. It's totally cool.
Yep.
But one thing that you definitely want to do is add them to that Facebook group.
Yep.
And be friends with them on social media so you can see what they're up to. They can see what you're up to. And I will say this is kind of a tangent, but I think this could be a really good training topic that we can do on Mindset Monday in the near future is how to elevate your personal brand so that everybody in your community sees you as the expert that you are.
Right.
And people want to be on the team with experts. They want to be on the team with people who are at a high level and who are intelligent and charismatic and leading the business and the community. Mm-hmm. So when you elevate your personal brand, and this is something as simple as like what we were doing with Super Chris at the last event, right? The boot camp, we were taking headshots.
Yep.
So during advanced course, we're going to have early check-in.
Yes.
One of the perks of early check-in is we're going to have a station set up with professional cameras and lights and a professional man named Super Chris who's going to be doing your headshots.
And you're not allowed to take a headshot like this.
Yeah, we're not selling homes. We're not selling condos. We're selling changed lives.
Yes.
We're not doing real estate poses.
No real estate poses. We love you guys.
All right. So a couple things here. I'm going to go back into the chat section. We have time for a couple more questions, and we're going to wrap it up here. Robert Plum says that they are seeing the copycatting happening right now.
Yeah.
Jennifer, she's one of our coaches. She says the city that they're in just changed their colors to royal blue and lime green.
Congratulations. It looks like the brand awareness is being spread more and more, and that just means that more people are going to come to you.
Gonzo says they have a couple programs that have done the same.
Yep.
Liz and Tim says, take it as a compliment. They see your growth, right? And they want to copy it. I love it. All right. So let's take a look here. Do we have some questions coming in? All right. We have a question from Kia. She says, if you have a new team member that thinks their name is difficult for the kids and they ask to be called, something like Coach K or Coach T, is that okay? And then is it okay to print their real name on the ID in the Wall of Fame? I would just keep it as Coach T or Coach K. Totally fine.
Whatever the child is going to call them. I mean, even from a parent's perspective, if a parent comes in and they can't read the coach's name or they think that they're going to mispronounce it, they're not going to ever refer to that coach as Coach T or Coach K. Therefore, there's going to be like a little bit of a disconnect that'll end up happening. Whereas if you just put it and keep it very simple, then the parents know that they can talk to that coach and call them what the kids call them, and it just keeps things easy.
Yeah, it unintentionally breaks rapport.
Correct.
Right? So yeah, go by Coach T, go by Coach K, go by, like, some people, they look at my name and they're like, what kind of name is that? And they just call me D.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. All right. All right.
It's not hard to say.
So here's the thing, guys. A couple last minute pro tips before we bounce. Number one, make sure that you're following up with your leads from the Easter egg hunt. Number two, if you have an Easter egg hunt this coming weekend, make sure that you over communicate and you tell them, listen, because it's like the last chance, rain or shine, we're showing up and we're going to do it. I should say rain or shine
or snow.
Or snow. Make sure that you save your seats at the advanced course. We only have about, 60 seats left? Maybe 50?
I think 50.
Okay. And this is a members-only event. So if you are a member and have not saved those seats yet, we are going to be reaching out to you because this is an event that you cannot miss.
Correct.
We're also going to be speaking at the Dance Teacher Web Expo and Conference in Vegas. That's going to be in August.
That's August, yes.
So if you guys
through
are
4th.
interested, even if you're not in the dance industry, if you're interested in meeting up with us, we would love some people to hang out at our booth to help us promote, to help us chat with potential studio owners that are interested in doing after school and summer camp. And we're going to be doing some amazing presentations at that event 3 days in a row. So we'd love to have you there. We're going to be speaking at Melody Johnson's skills event. That's coming up in like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
April 6th.
April 6th.
Yes.
Anybody that's on the line right now, if you're going to St. Petersburg, Florida for Melody's event, type yes into the chat. We'd love to know who's showing up there. And then we're going to be at the Carlos Machado event.
Correct.
So Lindsay and Carlos are in our Diamond program, and that's going to be in April as well. So we're going to be in Dallas, Texas for that.
Yep.
So we're excited to see some people
18th through the 21st.
Yeah, we're going to be speaking 2 days in a row at that event. We're going to do
you see
some
why
sales training.
I'm having a hard time memorizing dates, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm like, that's why I'm like, no, I need my notepad so
There's
I have
no way
all
to
my
memorize
dates.
them. No way to memorize them. Also, we're going to be launching our revised newest website. So that's going to be jumping up pretty soon. And
Looks so good.
we're going to hook you guys up with an opportunity to be able to refer people to us. So we'll give you some more information about this, but I wanted to share with you just a couple like cool ideas that we have that we've been tossing around. So there's going to be a referral page that's going to be on this website, and you can literally jump in there and say, hey, I want to refer my friend. Here's their contact information. And when they do sign up, you'll get $1,000 credit when they do platinum. And I can't remember the gold credit. We don't really promote gold. We just promote platinum.
Correct.
So platinum is $1,000 back to you, credited to your account on day 91. We have to make sure that they're a good fit and we don't kick them out of our group because that does happen sometimes.
Yep.
And the other thing, what was it? Oh, so Lauren and I and the team, we've been talking about how can we serve at an even higher level, right? And what are your thoughts? We're not saying that we're going to do this, but we're just tossing it out there if you're interested. And I would like for you to like blow up the chat section or go onto the Facebook group and tell us if you want this or not.
Get your fingers ready. Get your typing fingers ready.
So if we jumped in once or twice a week with literally a Q&A only live Zoom, literally a Q&A for an hour. You can jump in, you can ask your question, we'll answer it live. You can either type it in, you can jump on video and ask it. You can send us, you can be anonymous.
Yeah, send in something in advance that you just, you want clarification on something or, you know, whatever.
Anything.
It can be anything, yeah.
Right? You could jump in for 2 minutes, get your question answered, and bounce out.
Yep.
You could jump in and just listen to what other people are asking.
Which I would recommend definitely staying on and listening to what other people are asking. So can I share like a little bit of like where this kind of sparked from?
I would love for you to do that.
You know, one thing, obviously, you know, we do the one-on-one coaching calls. The coaching calls all seem to have a pattern, right?
Oh, very much.
Where it's like the coach will jump on a call, the member will ask a question, the coach answers the question. The next call.
Same question.
Same question. Next call.
Same
question. Okay, cool. So we've just done now 5 or 6 back-to-back coaching calls that all had the same question.
So you get that one answer.
Yep.
Instead of listening in to 50 people asking questions, and now you're getting 50 answers, and oftentimes answers to questions that you should have had that you didn't even realize that you did have.
There it is.
And that's the game changer. So I want to give a shout out to Manny Cabrera and his brother Ryan. So we got invited to join them last week. You guys probably saw the pictures. There's a gentleman by the name of Myron Golden. He has an awesome YouTube channel. He's a Tampa native, great guy. And he has this studio that's set up in Tampa where they'll do kind of like a Bible study in the morning, and then they'll do a business education, a couple sessions back to back. So they invited us to this, and we sat through the whole thing. It was very awesome. I really highly enjoyed it. One of the things that we noticed was he was having like a VIP kind of members only Q&A session. And we were learning stuff by just listening to other coaches, like info coaches and business coaches' questions.
Yes.
And so were the other people that were in the studio and the people that were on that Zoom.
Right.
And it was just kind of fascinating because when we look at the systematic approach to what we teach in our courses, there's a lot of things that people do immediately that some of our multi-year members forget to keep doing.
Correct.
Right?
So this would be something that would definitely be very impactful for everybody to be able to join on, because you are going to get the little tiny things like we talked about earlier, the shoelace, right? If you keep missing the same hole to lace your shoes, well, then your shoes are going to keep falling off, right? And you're like, I don't understand. You're like, oh, it's just that one little thing, right? So if somebody can ask a question, you go, oh my goodness, I've been in this program for 3 years. I totally forgot that is something that I need to be doing. This is a good reminder. And somebody might ask a question that you didn't even think of before, and you're like, oh, that's part of the system? Yes, that is part of the system. You need to make sure you're following it. So there's definitely lots of things that it will work so well in alignment with no matter if you are a first-year member or you are a 10-year member. It will absolutely pull everybody together and be able to get all of your questions answered.
Yeah, and one last thing before we call it a day. So we wrapped up our 7-figure sales boot camp a couple weekends ago, and all of the members who went to that event, I think they had their eyes opened tremendously. There was a little bit of humbleness that was going around, because you'll have these owners that are in the room who have done well. You know, they've made a couple $100,000 extra a year. They're signing up kids. You know, we've had a couple people in that room that have grown and have earned over $1 million since they've joined.
Yes.
And they realized that they were still not doing the sales system the correct way. They were like maybe 50% right with it, and they were still getting pretty good results. And when we were doing hot seats, this is where, you know, we had members come up and we were rehearsing the sales script and the magic questions, and we were coaching them on what to say and what not to say. Like, the paradigm shifted for them, right? So if you were at that event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You saw Lauren and I do that. We had a lot of people that have reached out since then, and they're like, hey, would you guys consider doing another sales event? We're open to it. It is a paid event. It's not free. This is extra. We are open to doing it again. We can definitely commit to doing it again next spring. But if there's enough people that are like, hey, let's do it in the fall, we will be happy to consider that. And this is one of those events where the moment you get a tune-up in your sales process, you immediately start making more money, like tens of thousands of dollars more in your bank account immediately. So this is a very powerful event. We will consider doing it. It is a small group event, no more than 20 people in the room. And if you want to be included in that, reach out, send us a message, and let us know, and we'll keep you on a list. All right. Well, that was it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Anything else?
No. I really, I'm not trying to be pitchy here at all, but I do have to say, if you have not saved your seat for advanced course, please don't miss this one. Like, it's a game changer. We've gone through the different sessions that we're going to be teaching. And like Dwayne was saying, these are not things that we have taught before. And it just really breaks down things on a simplistic level, but a very high simplistic level, like high level, but simplistic, if that makes sense. So just buckle up for it. Save your seats if you haven't already. And we want to see you there.
Awesome. Let's do a quick picture. Everybody get your thumbs up, and let's do a big smile. All right. So we're going to use this camera angle here on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You guys rock.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Mindset Monday. Have a great week. And thank you for helping us change more kids' lives across this entire country. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our events very soon. And if you need anything in the meantime, post in the group. Let us know what's up.
We're here to help.
And we'll have some fun. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.